Our episodes are brought to you by our awesome EDHCC Club, aka the Patron Pledgehammers. Thank you for making our content possible. If you'd like to support the channel and get some sweet bonuses, check out our Patreon link in the description below. Welcome everyone to episode 214 of EDH Commander Challenge. I'm your host, BT. Before we get into today's episode, which by the way is a cEDH episode, which is more to prove a point about what's been going on in the crazy world of MTG over the last week. But before we get to that, just want to kind of give you a little bit of an update as to what's been going on with me, as well as the aforementioned crazy stuff that's been going on. So first things first, I want to say thank you to our viewers, our patrons, and subscribers for having the patience of saints. I know I've been kind of AWOL for a bit. I was very, very sick. I had terrible muscle pain, the shivers. It was crazy. Trying to work through the entire week was a nightmare. I had no sick days I was able to take and didn't really want to go spend, 10 hours in the hospital waiting to be seen just to be told, yeah, he just needs liquids and God knows what else. So I had to work through that. It was rough. It was painful. But hey, I came out through the other side. I'm good. And I'm happy to be here making another episode for you guys. So thank you again for your patience. I love you guys so much. With that out of the way, let's talk about what's been going on in the MTG world over the past week. Oh boy. As you guys know, last week the announcement came from the Commander Rules Committee that 4 new cards were banned, which were Nadu Wing Wisdom, Mana Crypt, Jeweled Lotus, and Dockside Extortionist, which really has had a negative response I haven't seen since the 30th anniversary of Magic the Gathering, those packs. Oh man. Do the cards deserve to be banned? Well, Nadu, I would say, is a definite yes. The card was meant for Commander. Most people call it a design mistake. It warped other formats it should have never even been in around it. So yes, it deserved to be banned. Plus, not many people even really care because the card was worth about 5 or 6, Canadian dollars. So it was easy to get. It was more so the other cards that really infuriated a good portion of the MTG community because money-wise, Dockside was around a $70, $80 card. The Jewel Lotus was around $90 to $100, and the Mana Crypt was around $150 to $200. That's not even foil. And people were cracking packs and buying these cards for most of their decks for up until the day before the bans. And this has created a lot of buyer remorse, fans feeling like, you took money out of my hands, stuff like that. In my opinion, if the cards were not as expensive as they are, and they costed the same as, say, what a Soul Ring cost that you see in a Commander Precon, maybe I don't think that the negativity would have been this strong, but it's mostly because of how much money that you have to put into whether you are a casual or a cEDH player. It kind of falls into the same category in my opinion. Now, do the cards deserve to be banned? They are powerful and do make you public enemy number 1 in a 4-player setting, or even in 1v1 where your opponent will have less remorse about just torpedoing everything on your board because you got so far ahead. In my opinion, I've seen those cards come up, especially the Dockside and the Mana Crypt, and they do help big time. But have I ever seen them close out games? Not so much. They're absolutely great cards, and they help a lot. But do they close out or are single-handedly responsible, I should say, for closing out games? I'm going to have to say no. But at the end of the day, can the format survive without them? Absolutely. So my answer is yes and no. These cards could have survived in the format, and the format would have been fine. And the fact that they're gone, the format will still be fine, as you will likely see in today's cEDH episode. The only other thing I wanted to touch on real quick, and I'm sorry for taking up so much of your time, guys. Know you have things to do. Not trying to be an after-school special or sound like a massive, Ken or Karen here. All I want to say is, hearing the fact that the Commander Advisory Committee and the RC as well, the Commander Rules Committee, also quit because of all the negative feedback, as well as even receiving death threats, that now the format is in the hands of Wizards themselves, it kind of made a bad situation worse, in my opinion. So all I want to say to you guys, and I say this with much love, is remember that at the end of the day, this is a game that we all love, we enjoy. Yes, it's not fun that you kind of had lost some money or lose money investing in these cards, or wanting just to use them in decks and then can't anymore, but it's still not really a good reason to, push it to that level. It's perfectly fine to raise your hand, state your case, and let them know that you're not very pleased with the decision, but some people took it a little bit too far. So all I really want to let everyone know is that EDH, or Commander for that matter, remember, is a format that was originally made by players for players, and we don't want to lose that at the end of the day. We love the game, we love playing the game, and I want us to be able to keep playing that game for a long time. So all I ask is support each other, have fun, enjoy it, and believe me when I tell you, this game will survive as long as this player base is united. With that being said, let's go check out today's cEDH opening hands. First, in this corner, with an opening hand of Exotic Orchard, Underground Sea, Wishclaw Talisman, Cyclonic Rift, Teferi Time Raveler, Thassa's Oracle, an offer you can't refuse, and his Witch-style General Atraxa Grand Unifier. He is the champion of champions. This is Greg. Next, in this corner, with an opening hand of an Island, Darksteel Citadel, Razor-Tide Bridge, a Darkar Wastes, Duplicate, Authority of the Consoles, Emery, Lurker of the Loch, and his Azorius-style General, Urza, Prince of Kroog. He is the strategist. This is Philip. Filling the dice roll to start us off, so let's begin our cEDH card fight. For their first turns, Phil plays a Darkar Wastes and casts Authority of the Consoles, taking 1 damage from his wastes. While Greg plays Underground Sea. Phil plays Razor-Tide Bridge and casts Esper's Sentinel, while Greg plays Exotic Orchard. Phil plays an Island and casts Emery, Lurker of the Loch. With her ETB, he mills some cards, then he moves into combat and attacks with his Sentinel for a damage, and passes. While Greg plays a Tropical Island. Phil plays Darksteel Citadel and moves into combat, attacking with both of his creatures. Greg takes 2 damage, and then Phil passes. Greg plays Scrubland and casts Demonic Tutor, paying 1 mana to his Sentinel tax, and tutors a card from his deck to his hand before passing. For Phil's turn, he casts his General, Urza, Prince of Kroog. Then he moves into combat and attacks with his Emery and his Sentinel, who is now a 3/3 thanks to Urza. and deals Greg 4 damage before passing. Despite knowing that Phil may be holding a counterspell, Greg shows no fear and casts Thassa's Oracle. And with its ETB on stack, he casts Demonic Consultation, naming Quagmire. As the card is not in his deck, he exiles his whole deck, and thus his Oracle's devotion is higher than his now 0 card deck, and he automatically takes the super quick win. Well, that's cEDH for you guys. And for anyone who dislikes the Oracle Consultation combo, I do get it, but that night was a tournament, and there was a championship on the line, not to mention a sweet, expensive prize card, which I think was a foil Morning Tide Idyllic Tutor, which goes for around $40 or $50 Canadian. And to be fair, Phil was playing Azorius, the best colors for control decks. And I think he was in one of two situations. Either he was bluffing that he was holding a counterspell the whole time and was just playing some brilliant mind games with Greg, or he simply jumped the gun to further his advantage by casting Urza just to make sure that the tax was virtually unpayable. In any case, both guys are great players. As you can see, no Jeweled Lotus, no Mana Crypt, no Dockside Extortionist here. And yet it was just as fast. So I think, to be honest, the game will be just fine, even if they're banned. But by the same token, that also begs the question, if this can still happen, did the cards really need to be banned? Well, I mean, I guess that's for debate. By the same token, maybe they didn't need to be banned after all. So I guess like Mephiles the Dark would say,
the answer is yes and no.
Anyways, what's the craziest cEDH deck you've played or ever seen for that matter? Let us know in the comments. Also, if you enjoy our content, consider becoming a patron. We'll give you access to some sweet extras like bonus entries into our giveaways, your nickname in the EDHCC Club, and much more. Also, we're still trying to reach 2,000 subscribers, so please smash the like and subscribe buttons. It helps out a lot. Well, until next time, thank you all for watching. It means a lot to me. Also, thank you again for remembering to continue loving this game that we all play and have fun with. Support each other, have fun, play tons of EDH. But most importantly, once again, be kind to each other. Be positive to one another. Stay warm, stay safe, and keep on EDH card gaming. I love you all, and cheers.